What's going on, guys? It's Adam P, and welcome back to more Newcastle United news. 9 points from a possible 12 in the Champions League. It's been an unbelievable Champions League campaign so far. Newcastle practically already have the job done into getting the playoff spot in the next round. All we have to do is pick up one more point, which was required. 10 points last season was required to actually qualify for the next phase of the competition. Now, I think Newcastle are going to do that. However, we all know in the Premier League it has been the polar opposite, a completely underwhelming season where we've got horrendous away from because we haven't won an away match in the Premier League since April. And we're so far down the table where even Sunderland down the road, they've had a very good season and a good step ahead of us so far. So we need to start winning games. Brentford on Sunday, despite their very impressive form, considering the sort of both in Bruno and Wissa this summer. They look potentially even better without those two players. It's just mental when you put it that way. They look good. Newcastle will batter there last season and we have to go there now. But what is a heavily injured, depleted squad? We'll explain why in just a moment. But of course, if you guys are new around here, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you do so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. The overnight stay vlog with Brentford will be out on the channel tomorrow. So make sure you stick around as I will tell you all my most favourite and my worst cities in the UK that I have visited as a Newcastle United fan. So make sure you don't miss out on that. Going on topic to the injured situation, because you look at the fact that Eddie Howe has just conducted his press conference this morning. We all know that Ursula has just picked up an injury, so he'll be out for a good couple of weeks. So with that being the case, Johan Wissa's not back this weekend. He is at least out on the grass now training with the team. It's more fitness related than injury related. He's no longer injured essentially. You just want to build his fitness up. So you could argue, if you were to compare him to Isak at Liverpool, who hasn't done well so far, Newcastle's preparing him to just come in at 100% rather than kind of throwing him in there and just seeing what you can do. And I do have to agree with that, even though it's incredibly frustrating that you spent £60 million on a player who African Cup of Nations next month. He hasn't even played a game for Newcastle yet. What happens if he gets injured out there again? It's a real mess of a signing, unfortunately. But when Wissa plays, he's got 19 goals in the league last season. He will be a difference maker. I'm telling you now, he'll be class when he comes in. But Newcastle is just waiting for the correct opportunity to do that. With Ursula being out and also with Gordon likely to be out, it now means that Nick Woutmans, the only striker or only player you would realistically put in the striker role against Brentford, and that will be Barnes left, Murphy right, Woutmans through the middle. My opinion, Elanga's going to be the backup striker. I actually think Elanga through the middle is what Newcastle will do if they feel like they'll take Woutmans up. But to be honest, I think you could get 90 minutes. I think you probably would get 90 minutes because I haven't really got much more of a choice. And I feel like Elanga, surely as one of the out wide options, will be a great option to put in there. He has to deliver on Sunday though. We're desperate for this guy to do something. He hasn't scored or assisted in 16 games at Newcastle United. I'm not saying all 16 of those games have been bad, because obviously Champions League games he's had a couple of good ones in there. But let's be real, £55 million, he hasn't got a goal or assist. It's just not good, is it? That's not a good outcome at all. Well, you need this guy to deliver on Sunday because, hell, our attack is depleted. He's the only option we're going to have basically at all on the bench. So Elanga, we are all asking you, let's hopefully have a good performance out here. However, on a positive note, Lewis Hall is likely to be back in. I think Lewis Hall, to be fair to our outright options, you could argue Gordon not been great in the league, argue the Barnes have been great in the league, and Elanga. I feel like the fullbacks, Hall pushing up, Livramento pushing up, as much as I love Trippier, Livramento was the attacking threat we need as a fullback. Those two ones that in will help those players out. So you could still argue, so Lange hasn't quite got the right players maybe around him that's going to be best suited for him. So yeah, let's see the weekend. We just got to go out there and play well. We need to desperately get a result. We have to get this result in. I swear down, if we lose again at these away grounds and just play it all for after what was a fairly decent Champions League performance, I'm going to be a bit annoyed because I think there is a bit of cherry picking amongst some of the players. But going away from that, we'll deal with that over the weekend. Of course, I wanted to go through a few questions amongst Newcastle fans. The first one being, is Newcastle United fleecing the fans? I don't mean in terms of tickets, I don't mean in terms of hospitality, and I don't mean in terms of how much prices are, because to be fair, Newcastle United is a company, Newcastle United is a business, and they're always going to look to maximise profits, as annoying as it is. But in this particular case, so they've got the new membership packs. So if you remember with your old season tickets, I've got a few of them behind me in the wall actually, but you used to get the membership packs where the club would just send them out every single season for free if you were a season ticket holder. Now in this case, the club has issued a £10 fee for the packages, and they're showing the packages here. The children's ones, a lunch bag, a big water, one of metal water bottles, I think you call them. And then a couple of little things you can stick on the bags. And then with the adult one, you get a few photographs from last season of the team. You'll get a couple of pin badges and I guess a couple of exclusive items you get amongst the box. But for £10, is it worth £10? Probably not, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, yeah. Now, I'm going to be honest, right? I've seen a lot of fans and I've seen a lot of anger on social media towards this, but I kind of have to agree with it. Like, Newcastle is a ownership's a multi-billionaire order. The public investment fund could actually have £100 million in the back of the couch and just lose it. That's how wealthy they are. They've got a ridiculous amount of money, and I can understand the club looking to maximise profits or help us on the FFP and PSR. But let's be real, is the £10 membership box seriously going to help us out with FFP and PSR? I mean, how many of these are going to sell? How many of these are actually going to be purchased from fans? And £10, if you add it all up, let's say 50,000 people buy this, a membership box at £10. I'm trying to work out the maths here. It's not a great amount. There's a couple of 100,000 in there. And I think, to be honest, the club just have to redo them a little bit, especially the membership packages. Because, for example, if you are a member watching these videos, already spent your total £40 to £50 on a membership, it is entirely possible out of the 12 or so ballots so far, you could actually be 0 and 12. It's entirely possible, and it has happened, where members last season apply every single ballot and just fail the entire season. They spent £50 and I would argue, like, come on, it's a membership box. I feel like the club should be giving these out. We gave these out in the past. Hell, even greedy Mike Ashley in the past was handing these out, and that was coming from a time where, yeah, we were terrible. So Newcastle United, even back in the day under an incredibly greedy owner, was still handing these out. And yeah, I think for £10, like, just hand them out. Like, let's just be nice to our fans and let's just give them something this season. But that's my personal opinion. Do you think I'm maybe looking too much into it? I would also argue it's not the end of the world, to be fair, but I have seen a lot of Newcastle fans upset by this on social media, so what the pub am I saying it? As for the second question, you would have seen this yesterday, of course, Sergio Tonali's comments coming out from the Bilbao game as he talked heavily about his future at Newcastle United. He was just open and honest. He said straight away that I'm not going to say I'm going to stay 10 more years, 2 more years, 1 more year. I'm not going to promise anything to the fans, but it happens on a season upon season basis. I have to look at myself, look at my family, and I appreciate you, honestly. Honestly, even though it's not the most positive thing out there, and for me, heavily indicates that we still need European football. I think we're all honest now. Like, let's be honest to ourselves. If we don't qualify for European football this season, will Tonali stay at Newcastle? I'll let you guys make your mind up on that, because I'm not convinced he would. But I do like his honesty. I remember Isak last season. Sorry about getting into him, but he talked out his backside. He talked loads of detail about how he wanted to be at Newcastle long term, how being in the Champions League was a huge thing for him at Newcastle. We qualified for the Champions League, and he went out the door. He went on strike, went out the door, and created all this drama behind the scenes. So I would rather Tonali just be open and honest. And worst case scenario, let's say Tonali wants to leave Newcastle, we're going to make an absolute fortune on him. He's got this secret contract until 2028. On top of that, young up-and-coming midfielder, one of the best, you could argue, one of the up-and-coming best in the world, perhaps. Tonali's up there. If you sell him, you're probably getting 100 million plus. I actually think we do. And when you look at a team like West Ham, who at the time done well under a Declan Rice sale of that magnitude, Aston Villa, you've seen done well under a Jack Grealish sale of that magnitude. Newcastle, back-to-back summers, would have essentially 2 Declan Rices or 2 Jack Grealish sales, and even a bit more on top of that because how much money Isak went for. That's crazy profit, and that's crazy money that we should help the team long term. But as we found out last summer, £115 million down in Alanga and Wissa. Oh God. That makes me sick when you think about it, because that money has not been reinvested too well, to be honest. But I could still change. It's just not been a great start for that kind of money. But going away from this video, that's about it, to be fair. Just going for Newcastle United news, going through what's been said in social media, and just going through the unfortunate negatives amongst the fan base. Let me know your opinions down below. Wish you all the best. See you down in London this weekend, and hopefully Newcastle desperately needs to get a win. We need to end this a horrible away day, bad form that we have. We just got to sort this out ASAP. Take care, guys. See you in the next one.